So I'll pass it over to Luigi.
Thanks, Jacob, and thanks, Lee, for an amazing presentation. And thank you all for staying to see the work that our students have been doing. The BSI, just to quickly cover, we have three aspects to ourselves. We have a global solution studio that's working with companies, government, nonprofits, developing interdisciplinary solutions to problems of climate change. We're working on projects like a circular fashion brand, a new aluminum air battery, turning diesel trucks into hydrogen trucks, so for cold food supply chain, developing climate positive neighborhoods. So we're working collaboratively and we're here to work with you. Then we're training students as well and graduates who come and work with us in a new form of learning called industry participatory learning, where the students are working in our Global Solutions Studio and then learning at the same time. So we're doing these incredible experiments, but the third part of our of the BSI is we're building a global observatory of solutions in smart sustainability. And to do that, we thought we'd start off by building a mass timber database. We have the Limberlows project that we've worked on, but there's so many projects around the world. And so what we did is we assembled a group of our students. I think we're 10 of them working this summer on this. We have 5 of them with us here today, and they're going to present what they've developed. They're all either digital experience design students or interaction design students. There was 1 or 2 architectural students. They worked with colleagues in Milan, 2 students from the Politecnico in Milan, and 2 PhD students who have been visiting with us at BSI as visiting scholars. And so this is an international project with an array of people that are working together to develop what we hope will be the most comprehensive database of mass timber buildings. And then after we get that off the ground, we're going to be moving towards a database of climate positive neighborhoods, or a database of new solutions for the future of work. So we'll be building these databases, and at the end we hope to have what is a really comprehensive observatory that everyone who's professional or a member of the public can log into and can see what's out there. And it's helping us determine what new solutions we have to create that aren't existing in the marketplace, but it's also helping us spread the knowledge about solutions that are out there so that you can quickly and rapidly solve problems that you're working on by enjoying the experiment, the knowledge of others who've done it before. So now I'd like to call up to the stage Isabel, Sarah, Burke, Hasti, and Tiana. And Isabel and Sarah are going to give you an overview, first of the approach and the research that they did to structure the database, and then they're going to show you the Figma file of how the database is going to work. In the next 3 months, all the information that's been collected is going to be input in it, and we hope to launch it by December, maybe January, if it could take more time than we're expecting. But I'll hand it over to Isabel to present what they've been doing all summer.
Thank you. So thank you everyone for joining the Brookfield Sustainability Institute tonight for introducing the BSI Global Mass Timber Database. So the database that we will be showcasing is a culmination of 6 months of work, and we're very excited to show you what we have produced so far. So first, before we showcase our work, I just want to take the time to thank the team who made this possible. So the BSI leadership, architectural and design leadership, development support, and our UX UI design team, which is the co-op student team. This would not be possible without them, so I just want to take a moment to thank them. So first, as Luigi mentioned, we do have the BSI Observatory. So to give a little bit of background, the Mass Timber Database is one of the many databases that will live within this observatory, which will also contain sustainable smart case studies, as well as sub-databases, media, books, white papers, and reports. So it's through this observatory that we hope as a collective, we can align on the state of smart sustainable case studies around the world and identify trends and opportunities and know how we are doing. So now, just to give a little bit of information on the BSI Global Mass Timber Database, at first we initially identified 3 goals. So the first one being to spread awareness, The second one to be sharing knowledge, and the third one to be inspiring creation. And for our database, we discovered that it's very important that we design for a wide target audience. So we envision that this will be used by scholars, researchers, architects, engineers, real estate developers, investors, governments, construction professionals, and everyone. We want to ensure that we're not limiting our database usage to a specific audience. We want this to be used by professionals and the whole population. So going into this project, first, it was important to understand why we are making this database. So first, we looked into the factors driving the growth of mass timber trends around the world. So the first one we identified was environmental concerns. As we know, there's rising awareness of carbon footprint in the built environment. And we found that with mass timber, compared to concrete buildings, there's 30% less carbon emissions. And this drops to 50% when compared to steel buildings. Next, looking into regulatory support, we find that governments incentivizing sustainable building practices have helped drive the growth of mass timber as well. So in 2015, the NRCan actually started a research program that helped fund the work by scientific experts as well as regulatory agencies to help approve regulations of mass timber frame construction up to 6 stories in the National Building Code of Canada. And then in 2017, the GC Wood program was also supported as well. And what they did was they helped support the development of buildings and bridges of mass timber. And it's these regulatory support as well as others around the globe that are helping drive this growth. So next, looking at cost efficiency, we know that with materials such as CLT, that on average is $14 less per square foot compared to concrete and steel buildings. And just also as well, architectural appeal. So just due to the inherent nature of the beauty of wood construction and alignment with well building standards, we know that this is increasing adoption rates as well. So now looking at the global market trend. So according to Allied Market Research, we found that the current global market size in 2021 was 857 million, but now projected global market size in 2031 is 1.5 billion. And in terms of North American trends, we know that as of March 2023, there are 1753 mass timber buildings built or in development in North America. And in terms of production facilities in North America, that number would be 38. So the reason why we decided to highlight the North American trends is because we found that as a global collective, it is hard to understand the state of mass timber around the globe because there is no global database. And we found this because through research of our own, and we have also been in touch with the Forest Economic Advisors as well as Natural Resources Canada, who has also informed us that there's no known database that will provide this information. So in terms of corporate trends, we also find that the largest corporations in America are adopting mass timber practices. So Google, Microsoft, Walmart, they're all building their new headquarters using mass timber practices in order to reduce the carbon emissions and operational costs. So going into the design process of our database, we just want to look into other preceding databases to understand what they were doing. So first, we took a look at the WoodWorks Innovation Network. And the special feature of WoodWorks was that it's an online community of design and construction professionals, and it helps connect the users to the design and construction teams. Now, as for the Tall Timber Center by the Council of Tall Buildings and Urban Habitat, this database helps feature tall construction of mass timber around the world, as well as identifies and focuses on urban density and tall buildings and how they form sustainable cities. Now, as for the state of mass timber in Canada, this was created by the government in Canada, and this focuses more on domestic mass timber construction and manufacturing facilities. So to look a little bit closer in detail about their coverage in buildings, so for the WoodWorks Innovation Network, this only covers North America, and they currently have 206 buildings in their database. Whereas for the Tall Timber Center, it does cover all regions, and it focuses on 251 buildings. Whereas the state of mass timber in Canada, it covers only Canada, and it contains 785 buildings. So as we can see from the databases, there are many gaps that we feel can be filled and that we can build upon. So first, what we identified was that there were paywalls that were barriers to accessing this information. So generally, these databases do not have more than 800 projects, and if they did, you would have to access these projects through a paid subscription. So next, we found that they're focusing on niche targets in terms of specific target audience groups and regions, and therefore we found that this can be isolating other users. And then lastly, we found that when looking at these databases, they only focus on the high-level information, and as a result of this, we lose information on the history of how these buildings came into creation. So our solution as a result of these gaps was that we want to ensure that we have global coverage so that we can align as a collective on the site of state of mass timber around the globe. We also want to ensure that we have rich information. So for these other databases, they only cover up to 8 data points. However, with our database, we cover up to 20 data points per building, and we also include vibrant descriptions and architect renderings and sketches. And next, we also want to centralize information to ensure that you don't have to go through other resources to find what you need to know about the building. Everything will be contained within our database. So just to summarize, our main insight is that the rapid adoption of mass timber needs a leading global repository for all. And that is why we created the BSI Global Mass Timber Database. So this repository is designed to feature buildings around the globe and also spread awareness, share knowledge, and inspire creation. So just to give a little bit of insight on where we're currently at with our project. So currently we have 862 global entries, with 375 in North America, 57 in South America, 160 in Europe, 6 in Africa, 170 in Asia, and 92 in Australia. So in Q3 2023, this is where we're at. However, by Q4 2024, we are projected to have 2,586 global entries. And we envision that this number will continue to grow on a daily basis. And we'll explain how you can get involved in helping this database grow as well. So just to explain a little bit about the design features. So our database features 2 methods of navigation. So it allows users to choose their navigation style. So if users want to conduct more exploratory research and see the concentration and distribution of buildings around the world, then they can choose to use our map view. However, if they want to do more targeted research, they can also use our grid view to search for specific applications. Next, moving on to our advanced filtering options. So for casual users, we included basic filtering options so that they do not get overwhelmed when using our database. However, for users who want to see more targeted results, they have the option of using our advanced filters, which allow them to seek for what they're exactly looking for. And then next, this is what I touched upon earlier. So we do want to feature a building submission form on our database. And because as a global database, we want to get aligned as a collective, we found that it's important that everyone gets involved in on this and shares their knowledge. So by doing the submission form, you can contribute to our repository of over 850 mass timber buildings. And lastly, our database will also act as a revenue source for partners. So partners, they have the opportunity to benefit off of the mass timber database. So on our website, later on in the demonstration, you'll see that we have ad space available for partners to promote relevant products and services on projects they've been involved on. So overall, this will help generate revenue for partners and also connect users to the products and services that are relevant and targeted. So next, we'll move into our live demonstration by Sarah Park. She will run through the database.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'd like to start by underscoring the importance of user experience design and web application. Today, we will embark on a journey through our BSI Global Mass Timber Database website prototype. So our focus will revolve around the user-centric design principles that make it not only informative, but also remarkably user-friendly. So our mission is to empower professionals, innovators, scholars in the mass timber industry to effortlessly locate the information they seek. So upon entering the website, you can see in the screen, you will encounter the landing page, which offers a concise overview of the BSI Global Mass Timber Database's purpose and its intended user base. We have thoughtfully integrated an introductory video to enhance both visual comprehensions and efficiency in understanding our platform. Next to the intro video button, there is a start exploring button. So as you click the start exploring button, it will seamlessly transfer you to the grid view of our database. So our top priority here is to make accessing the information you want as smooth as possible. So we have implemented a user-friendly design that allows users to navigate the database quickly and effortlessly. We adopted a clean and color minimized design to ensure the users just focus remains on the information. It's all about making the database easy to read and navigate so user can quickly find what they want. So straightforward searches, we have placed the essential tools at the top, as you can see. So you can perform a keyword search and find a project by architect and select the continent and also select a function. For our knowledgeable target users who requires more detailed and precise searches, our advanced filter is right there at the top, and clicking on it allows you to refine your search criteria further. Our advanced filter enables users to easily divide the database based on specific criteria. In our advanced filter, there is continent, stats, function, structural materials, building structural system, mass timber products, and also storage completion year and service area. So I'll quickly do a little example here. So I want to find a mass timber building located in Europe, North America, South America, and also I wanted to find the building is under construction and completed. So here's a great part. So as you select each filter, you enhance the user experience by displaying how many data entries matches your choosing criteria on the screen. And also user can always know what they're searching for and getting. Now I will show the different view of our database, which is map view. So clicking by the show map button, it will transfer to our map view of our database, where we have introduced a range of interactive features to make your navigation experience more engaging and informative. So here you will find features that allow you to actively interact with map. You can seamlessly zoom in on regions and also move around. So it makes it easier to explore and gain insight. So when you click to each region, you will go directly to the continent you want to search for in detail, and also the advanced filter and the searching is exactly same in the grid view. So right now, you can also access detailed information about each project directly from the map. This means you can learn more about the project by simply clicking on the numbers chip on location. And also I want to quickly introduce, at the bottom left on the map view, you will notice a space reserved for small advertisement. So this space is an opportunity to spotlight potential partners and investors. So if you're interested in collaborating or investing in mass timber projects, this is where you can connect with promising opportunity. As you click the information card, it will transport to detailed page of the building. At the very top, you will find a snapshot of the most crucial project information directly related to our search filter criteria. So we have distilled the information to the essential, like building name, detailed address, function, completion year on the right side, and on the left side, sorry. And the right side, there is a number of stories, surface area, stats, and lastly, the structural materials. And there are images right underneath. So image speaks volumes. And we have made it easy for a user to explore. User can simply click on any image to view it in a larger, more detailed format. Additionally, we have also provided the source and the brief description for each image. Next is, I'll move on to the left side on the screen. So we have crafted a hub for navigation and access to various resources. So this section aimed to streamline user experience. As you can see, you can click View Map to go back to the map view. And also there is a video button that you can view a video related to the building. And for the quick fact sheet part, this is concise summary of key points. So there's a lot of user who wants to have information quickly. This is for them. And underneath there is an advertising space. So this is a prime spot that could feature potential collaborators, and associated companies. Let's now move on to the right-hand side. So you will discover of comprehensive project details. This is where we dive deep into what makes this project special. It start with description of building, so you can uncover the sense of the project. And underneath, there is a construction schedule that gets a sense of how it all came together over time and will. And under there is a company's individuals involved. So learn about the key players involved in this project. And also there is a construction detail. You can find more detail about the construction and architect directly here. And also we provide, so for knowledgeable users, it will be familiar with construction terms, but for the newcomers or who wanna explore more or learn more about the construction terms, we provide a short description for each to understand easily. And also underneath there is a construction detailed image. And also we provide the resources so people can easily copy and paste the resources. And also if they want to learn this project furthermore, they can go explore direct link. So I will move back to the grid view. And I want to just quickly show some serve multiple function buildings. So these multifunctional buildings often boast different architectural styles and materials. To make things easy for users, we have categorized them by functions and provided detailed insight for each category. So for this building is mixed use for commercial use and institutional use. So we have a detailed information, and for structural materials, building structural system, mass timber products is all divided. And also is implemented into the construction details as well. And I want to briefly mention about the construction detail page is directly navigated here. And also if you want to view a little more detail of construction detail image, you can just simply click the image and view the details. And also I want to quickly mention about the submission part. So you can easily submit your own building and share the detail of the mass timber building in our global mass timber database to contribute to a comprehensive collection of information in mass timber structure from around the world. And yeah, that's it. Thank you for listening for my prototype walkthrough, and I'll pass to Isabel.
So thank you, Sarah. So now we'll just move on to our timeline for development. So currently in Q3 2023, where we're at is 862 total entries. And as you can see, we also have our web prototype complete. Now for Q4 2023, we envision that in this phase, we're going to have the website live for December 2023. Now in Q1 2024, we then move into phase 2, where we want to have promotional launch around the world with partners and sponsors. As for Q2 2024 in phase 3, we want to have more databases launched in the BSI Observatory. And in phase 4, Q3 2024, we want to have projected total of 2,586 entries. Now, at this point in the presentation, we just encourage everyone to scan our QR code. If you scan this link, it'll take us to the detailed page about our project where you can learn more, and you also can subscribe to our newsletter to keep up to date with our project and when it releases. So join our newsletter and become a part of our global movement. Thank you.
I'd just like the students to come up and share a bit some of the challenges they had. Come on up, get into the light. I'll start with you, Hasti. You started work on this. You're a digital experience design student. What did you learn during the process?
Hi everyone. Actually, I learned a lot about data gathering, data analysis, and how to display this amount of data in a way that can benefit users most. But personally, I think teamwork was the most important aspect for me, and I really enjoyed that.
Tiana, why don't you pass the mic to Tiana? Tiana, your thoughts from the experience.
I think I learned a lot about mass timber in general, a lot of researching and figuring out information that I would have never thought of or even thought about the sustainability or even this industry at all. And it's been really rewarding to see all of our hard work go into this project.
And Burke, your thoughts?
Well, my background is digital experience designer, 4th year, and I didn't have much knowledge of CLT, GLT terms for mass timber buildings and such. And through careful guidance of the architects on the team and the strategic designers, I learned quite a bit. So it was a very knowledgeable and valuable experience.
I just want to open up. Thank you so much for staying. I think you can see the tremendous amount of work that's been done, collecting the case studies. We have files with all of this work ready to go. We're starting to code next week to build the database so that it can go live. But are there questions that you have around it for the students from the audience? Yes.
I can speak. I'll be glad enough. So I have a question because I think it's a great idea, but how do you envision maintaining this? Because now it's a student project, but these students are going out in the world and doing something else, another job. So how do you sort of see this go and be something that is reliable for the industry in the future?
So absolutely, that's a great question, and I'll take that one because the students are learning and they are going to be going out because you can see they're tremendously talented at building this kind of material. But we have another crop of students that are joining and overlapping with them this year, and that will continue to happen year by year. And more than that, we have students from around the world that will start helping us and contributing, because that's how the BSI is going to be operating. So here today, probably in the audience, is the third visiting PhD student, Stefano Sartorio. But we, hope to have hundreds of students from around the world working at the BSI. This year, we already had 50 of our own George Brown students, plus 4 students from, Polytechnico. But we see that changing, and we see the database being an ongoing activity where we are continually researching, continually updating that. And you can only do that if you have, a large labor pool that's learning and that is affordable enough to work on a project like this. And while we pay fair wages to the students, it's very different than if we had to go out and hire, researchers that are consultants to develop a database like this. So But it's also a deep part of our commitment at George Brown to continue sharing knowledge and making that knowledge available out in the world so that we can see the change happening. I mean, we have 15 years to make a significant difference before maybe the problem gets too severe. We already didn't anticipate it was going to be as severe as it is this year with all the fires that are happening. So we need as many people around the world working and sharing this knowledge and information to make as much change happen as quickly as possible. And that's our commitment at the BSI and at GBC, and that's what we're going to be doing. But fantastic question. Yes.
Can I ask how many hours you think went into this? Because this is fabulous. I applaud you on your work on this.
I'm going to hand that one to Isabel to answer.
Yeah, so in a team of 10 students locally and then 4 students overabroad, and if we're all contributing approximately 30 hours per week, you can imagine that there's hundreds to thousands of hours being put on this currently and on a continuing basis. So everyone has been very hardworking, and it takes a lot of time and dedication, but it's very rewarding experience, and we're happy to be doing this.
Other questions? It gives you a sense. It was, sort of 10 people working full time for 4 months so far. So far.
That's it? Okay, there we go. My question is, has the architecture of the database been designed in such a way that it is able to be adapted and evolved based on feedback from the people who are using it in terms of like what data points and the detail that's within those data points that are within the database?
Actually, that's super interesting, and we are anticipating that. Right now, as Isabel mentioned, we went from 8 data points to 20, but we actually know that we want to do more. We want almost every site to become an exhaustive site for each building through a participatory working relationship with also the consultants and the teams and the manufacturers who are involved with the building, so that I can tell you the Limberlost piece of this site just itself will be huge. So we are working at developing the database so that we can have more criteria. We're also working with industry sponsors who want to work with us to develop these databases so that we can add criteria. Like we've been speaking with Royal Bank, that we're trying to do a study of certain things, and it may mean that we need other knowledge and criteria, but in doing that, we would have to work and get that extra information and then add it. But we do see this as an ongoing evolutionary database, not being like a fixed thing. And so the coding of that, we're working with a professional team that's working with the students as well on developing that so that we have that organic growth of it. Yes.
So I guess the first database that I encountered was the State of Mass Timber in Canada by Woodworks. I thought it was a great site. I think this is really great. And this is just a suggestion. In that database, they showed graphics in terms of a bar graph to show values, let's say, being developed, constructed, or in progress. And it showed the typology of those, let's say, institutional versus residential. So it became passively sort of a graph that showed some kind of a trend or a perception of a trend. And I thought that was interesting to put into the UI. It's just a suggestion. Marvelous work.
It's a terrific suggestion, and I think we want to go there. As we've been developing this, we definitely want the analytics and the visual, but it's also, this is wonderful. It's already spurred, like we can easily compile, for instance, a book of similar projects from this database. We can start to analyze other things like the costs across the world or other various things. So it, in effect, becomes a research tool, but if we have visuals and data analytics that enable other people to use the database and to do this kind of work and then add that knowledge back with reports and information with mini YouTube videos that we've analyzed the database and we've discovered this, right? That's exactly what we want to do. So thank you for that suggestion. And it's a big part of what we need to plan for. And that's why also we need your support. The main support we need is, we know that like Element 5 has 105 buildings. We want all of them in this database, right? So we're starting with your support to make sure that we get all the information and that we're able to get the numbers of the database up as high as possible. But then we want to work with you. That's where like we work with our Global Solutions Studio, because maybe there's something important to analyze in all the mass timber buildings that you're wanting to understand. And then we can put a team of students, faculty, and experts together to do that analysis and to give out that information. We already have another chunk of the database ready. It's on the future of work. We already have 500 case studies of different trends that are emerging around the future of work. So, and then as we're going into this academic year of the new intake of the BSI, they're going to be looking at the urban agricultural solutions. So expect in a few, in 8 months, for there to be another 400 or 500 entries about urban agricultural solutions adding to the database. So this is the kind of work we want to do. And we want to do it with everyone around the world, and we're trying to build a tool that will enable people to help us do it. There's one more there. Yes.
I had another question about specifically towards mass timber projects, right? Because I know that in general, firms can be very protective of their property, right? So I'm really curious how the data collection, what the process was for that, and as well as what the reception was in general and overall from the parties from which you get that data, and where on the meter that reluctance lies. Right?
So to be frank, we collected the research. We're going to publish, and then we're building. Then we're not asking permission to start. We'll find out how they're reacting. I think most people will react well, but we'll learn that situation as the database goes live. We'll learn more about how amenable they are. Now, we've reached out to people to give us drawings and things like that. They've been willing. So far, I think it's been good. But most of the work was done by the students, not by firms giving us information. And also, that's big, because it's hard for firms to spend the time to give the information. So I'm not expecting firms to necessarily do that. That's why we have the students to help them. Like, if they want everything that they've done up on, we'll help you. We'll take all the stuff and put it all up for you, and then you can review it and say yes. And I'm sure we'll be sending out an email to everyone saying, I hope this is okay. And that'll be part of our process, but we're still working that through.
When I asked too, because I'm just new to the industry, so I'm sure there's so many other people in this room that can have a much better idea of this. But I feel like one of the biggest or the most useful points of information might even be the details themselves addressing specific challenges that came up in specific situations and specific conditions, right? And I wonder whether that's something that's a little more difficult for people to part with.
Well, we've made the site have access to video, and maybe part of the site is will be like if you like where you are able to go to a video, but actually you need to contact the firm and they'll let you see the video or something like that. So there'll be that kind of interactivity and permission, right? We're still needing to work that out, but we do want as much out in the public realm as possible because it educates people and it gets people excited and ready to do the things that maybe they were afraid to do. I'll tell you, it was 7-8 years. U of T was ready to do their building when we started ours. I knew that ours would be done first, but because it takes a lot of courage to do these buildings, right? And if we hadn't had the courage in our administration, both our past president and our current president, I don't think we'd be where we were today. It really does take a lot of courage, and we want to give everyone courage to do that work, right? Because, you know, you get courage when you see that there's other examples that are out there, right? Any other questions? If not, I just ask maybe a hand for the students who worked so hard on this project. And I just personally want to thank each and every one of you. I know how much you've grown. I was amazed by how professional you were at presenting. You do, George Brown, the BSI, extremely proud by the work that you did. Thank you.